I got pretty involved in crystal meth, and that's a pretty quick way to ruin anything you're trying to do. Like, 'cause I had all these ideas that like would keep coming, but the idea of like going to class didn't exactly go in line with that, and so I would like stay up for 3 days writing a story about ancient Japan and do nothing for any actual class. And like the story about ancient Japan wasn't for any actual class. So like I don't know. I think the humbling experience of like failing out of college and like ruining my life kind of did a lot for my writing. And so like since then I think it keeps my writing to a higher standard. I always try to assume that everyone in the audience who's reading anything I write is always smarter than me.
So we're in a church right now, and this is a church sanctuary that was part of a Catholic church up until 2009. So it was empty for a good 2 years until a church in Bay Village bought it. Bay Presbyterian Church is where I used to go, and still my home, definitely. I was interested in using this facility for a like arts and music festival. It was just something that was on my heart that I really felt led to do. And I basically had looked at a few other locations, and this was one of them. I looked at St. James Church in Lakewood, looked at this one derelict building on 117th in Clifton. And then fast forward to this summer, I always knew that God was calling me to the city and to move out of the suburbs and move to the city. So I eventually made that move very unexpectedly and suddenly at the end of August, and ended up moving into my own place 3 blocks south of here, and ended up having to move out of the place 5 days later because it had an infestation of cockroaches, and I had no roommates. I was by myself. I slept in my car that Thursday night in the garage, and the next day, on Friday night, I ended up coming here. Ended up hooking up with the house directors here and the house next door that I live in now. They took me in and just really opened the place to me just to stay until I had things figured out. And I've been here ever since. Just really became clear that this is where I was called to be. And so this space specifically is where I've kind of felt like led to be like sort of a caretaker for. So
For me, I find that if I stop obsessively pushing with my creativity and trying to accomplish something, if I surrender that and allow myself to engage in a conversation with someone else, or allow myself to serve someone or go to work with a good attitude, like then I release that burden in me of having to achieve something, and then I find that suddenly I'm inspired again and I'm excited about my project again. So I think that surrender is paramount in creativity. And then, on a little more practical level, I think that something else that renews creativity or is inspiring is just, for me, nature. The peace of the woods, or the peace of a lake, anything that hasn't really been marred by humanity. Anytime you just stop to really study the ecosystem around you, study the detail of it, watch the way that like millipedes crawl over each other and avoid each other and do it so peacefully without missing a beat, like that's just astounding. There's just I think if you let yourself, you can have a great sense of peace from watching the natural world and watching how well it functions and how things bump into each other but don't step on each other.
Throughout the ages, there was something inside of us, like, demanding expression. Some people might call that divinity. I don't know that I would, but it's certainly something. Only humans seem to, time and time again, have something that has to be expressed, that has no real purpose other than getting it out.